SOGIE is an acronym. It stands for Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity, and Expression. As for what these terms mean, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Jamie.
In this video, I'm going to talk about what that means, how it relates to the workplace, and why it's important that you know. Sexual orientation refers to romantic or sexual attraction, specifically how we experience attraction. Are we attracted to other people? And if so, who are we attracted to and how? Examples of sexual orientation include being bisexual, lesbian, pansexual, gay, heterosexual, asexual, aromantic, demi-romantic, and more. If you would like to learn more about these and other sexual orientation identities, or about sexual orientation in general, I encourage you to check out the PDF included in this lesson, which has links to a lot of great resources. Gender identity refers to our sense of who we are on the inside, our inner self. This can include identifying as a man or as a woman, or as a combination of both masculine and feminine identities, or as none of those and something else entirely. Gender identity is about who you are on the inside. It's about how you feel on the inside. The most common examples of this include cisgender men and cisgender women, also sometimes called cis men or cis women, and transgender men or women, also called trans men or trans women. Along with cis and trans, other gender identities include non-binary, gender fluid, gender queer, two-spirit, agender, and more. If you check out the PDF I mentioned, you will find descriptions of these identities, plus links to a bunch of resources for further learning. While gender identity is about the inside, gender expression is about the outside. It is about how you present yourself, how you express your gender to the world around you. For example, through the clothes that you wear or how you style your hair, or through the way that you speak and the way that you move, your mannerisms. Just letting it slide. It is important to note that gender identity and gender expression do not always match the sex someone was assigned at birth, and they don't even always match each other. Sex assigned at birth refers to what was written on your birth certificate. It refers to the moment when a doctor examines a baby's external genitalia, declaring them either male, female, or intersex. I encourage you to check out that PDF to learn more about the term intersex. It's a little bit slow.
Okay.
Because of homophobia and transphobia, a lot of employees cannot bring their whole selves to work. They have to fit themselves into the boxes of cisnormativity and heteronormativity, or risk being discriminated against. It is not safe for them to express their nonconformity in the workplace. They feel they have to hide parts of themselves in order to gain acceptance or respect. It's no surprise then that SOGIE employees are often dissatisfied with their jobs. Our goal here is to make queer and trans employees feel safe at work. They need to know that they do not have to hide their gender identity or their sexual orientation from their colleagues, that their colleagues' respect and acceptance does not depend on their being straight or cisgender. And how do we do this? How do we make queer and gender nonconforming employees feel safe at work? By focusing on creating a culture that allows for this, by including queer and gender nonconforming people in our EDI efforts. We need to educate ourselves on the challenges they face and work to develop policies and programs that address these challenges. For example, a non-discrimination policy or an equal opportunity policy that specifically includes SOGIE identities in the language, including an option for pronouns in your organization's email signatures, an employee resource group for queer and trans employees, and making sure that health benefit and parental leave benefit plans are addressing SOGIE-specific needs. For a start, You can also consider checking out what other organizations have done to support queer and gender nonconforming employees.
Queer and gender nonconforming Indigenous persons sometimes identify as two-spirit. The term two-spirit refers to the embodiment of both feminine and masculine spirits. It reflects the fact that Indigenous peoples generally held a spirit-based view of gender prior to colonization, meaning a person's gender was based on their spirit, not their physical body. The concept of two-spiritedness speaks to the fluidity and complexity of gender and attraction, and to the way they are linked to spirituality and community. It's important to note that while not all queer and gender nonconforming Indigenous persons identify as two-spirit, it remains an Indigenous-specific term, meaning a two-spirit identity can only be claimed by somebody who is Indigenous. It is also important to note that two-spirit is an English word, and that some people prefer words that come from their nation or their Indigenous language, words that capture what it means to be queer or gender nonconforming in their community. This marks the end of Lesson 14 and the end of Module 2, EDI Foundations. Thank you for watching, and up next is Module 3, Developing an EDI Strategy.